All right,
All right.
episode number one. Uh, when your father is a felon on episodes of Adventures with Alex. Today we're going to be discussing one of my family favorites, smuggling drugs from Mexico to California. And why don't you just tell us how did this go down? Did you have a connection in Mexico?
Yes.
So did you go down there on a whim, or did you knew somebody and you just made a call and you went down? Give us the story of how all this went down.
Okay. Me and my partner hitchhiked out to California, San Francisco, and
From Mobile.
From Mobile. Got an apartment, got a car, got everything straightened out, and then we went to Mexico.
How long was that drive?
That was about 6 hours,
How many people in the car?
6 or 7, 3. And one of them was a guy named Jim Dysart, who's dead now, me, and I won't mention another guy's name. Anyway, we got to San Francisco, got everything settled. Then we went down to Mexico.
How often did y'all make the trip from California to Mexico?
From California to Mexico.
Yeah, how many times?
3 times. We made it 3 times. Made 3 trips. But see, we rented an apartment in Carlsbad, and we'd stay there when everything was going down.
Right.
So we wouldn't have to go all the way to San Francisco and back. All right, we go from Carlsbad, California to Tijuana, cross over the border, and get with a taxi cab driver who lined us up for 10 keys or 100 hits, 1,000 hits of acid.
So when you went down there, were you just mostly getting weed and acid, or what were you going down there to get?
Weed, acid, speed, and heroin. We was getting the whole route.
Getting all the good shit.
Yeah, whatever is in style.
So after you go, how much money would you bring down there?
We'd have about 5,000, which is about 20,000 in Mexico.
Right. So you go down there, you get hooked up with the taxi driver. It would be a one-stop shop for all the drugs, or would you have to make multiple stops to get?
No, it was just one taxi cab. That's all you had to know.
All right, so you go down there, you'd meet him. Now, walk us through how you'd put the shit in the car.
We would go down by it, then we'd go up into the mountains a little bit, so we'd find a nice quiet place and hide, and then we'd get the bricks and put them into the door panels. And we'd get all new door clips and window clips and everything, so when we put the stuff back on there, it looked like brand new instead of old used,
Ragged
you know.
shit.
So it fit tight and everything, you know. Nobody questioned it. And then, you know, after we got that done, we just hauled back to San Francisco.
Well, what about getting across the border?
As long as you know, they didn't have dogs back then, but as long as you know, look straight and just say, we just been down partying, you know, they didn't give a shit. They said, come on.
So, all right, once you got back to California, how did you divvy up the drugs? Did you come back to Mobile? Did it all stay in California?
No, we'd mail what we wanted in Mobile back, and we'd stay there and make another trip while the other shit's being sold. But that didn't work out the first time because we trusted the guy that ripped us off. We sent him the shit and he didn't send us no money, so we got rid of him. And the second trip, it turned out better. Everything got to where it was supposed to go.
How much profit do you think you'd make on a shipment?
We'd triple our money at least.
Now, once you tripled your money, did you just kept on going back down there, or did you?
Yeah, we had a lot more money to, you know, play with and shit. We had a good time going down there and coming back. But we was only at Carlsbad. That's only 60 miles from the border. So, you know, it wasn't a long trip.
Now, when you got all that acid, all that was from Mexico too? And how would you go about distributing that? Would y'all do the barter would y'all put it on the paper and put it out, or would you just sell it on vials to get rid of it?
No, it was in a piece of paper, and there'd be so many hits on a piece of paper. Like I think it was 100 hits per sheet, and we'd get 20 or 30 of those. And
Damn, 20 or 30 sheets with 100 hits a piece. God damn.
Well, it was cheap, and we had plenty of money.
Yeah. So you get it back, you'd sell it all, and y'all just repeated that cycle. Now, didn't you bring some back to Mobile? Didn't you drive back to Mobile with some a couple times?
Yeah. Drove back, let's see, I think it was one time, but that taught us not to do it again because we were so fucking paranoid. You know, it just wasn't worth it. You know, why not put it on a bus and send it back to Mobile? Why in the hell would we want to
drive it?
Yeah.
Now, how did you stay calm driving? Y'all take some water pins? Are you smoking weed?
No, it was Reds back then.
Now, what is a
Seconal.
What is Seconal? Is that like a
That's
value?
barbiturate.
A barbiturate.
It would put you to sleep if you take a whole one, but we'd only take a half.
So that'd keep you mellow on the whole ride.
Right.
Now, how long do you think this whole drug trafficking ring you had going on? How long of a time span do you think that was?
2.5 years.
Did you get busted trafficking or going back and forth? Or
Yeah.
did you have any run-ins with the law? Tell us about that.
That happened in Lafayette, Louisiana. I got a picture of me with the poster card. What do you call that?
Yeah.
And Lafayette, Louisiana. Everybody there speaks French, and we didn't even know how to ask for a cigarette in French. And we didn't have nothing, man. We had to wait for my mother to send some money. It took about 3 days. So we was without anything except what they give us. And nobody would talk to us because they didn't know how to talk English.
So how long were you in jail for that stint?
No, that was just a couple of weeks.
And y'all ended up getting your charges dropped, or?
Yeah, eventually.
Eventually?
Yeah. But then, on another trip, I got busted and did a year and a week, I think.
That was in Lafayette too?
No, that was in Mobile. I did time in the county for a year.
What was the charges for that?
Possession with intent to sell. Two counts.
What'd they catch you with?
They didn't catch me with it. I sold to a fucking undercover narc. He was my next door neighbor. I didn't know he was a fucking cop.
Got your ass. Huh?
Got me big time.
And you
back then it was a bad thing to have any kind of drugs.
Oh yeah, especially in Mobile. They thought you were the devil.
Redneck motherfuckers.
And you went to Mobile County.
Yep.
And did you get your charges dropped then, or how did that all pan out?
No, I had to spend a year in jail waiting on everything to get done. You know, the lawyer doing all his shit, and you know, had to wait on my mother to come up with $10,000 to give him, and it just all. My charges didn't even come up for at least a year.
So you just sat in there and wasted away for a year.
Yeah.
Wait for them to get their shit together.
Yeah. Oh, it was rough. But I knew everybody in there, so it didn't make a damn. Scopolitas was in there. Just about everybody I knew had been busted by the same people because we all had the same connections. So when they busted a few snitched on the rest and got everybody.
They rolled over on your ass, all your boys, huh?
Yeah.
Goddamn snitches. No loyalty in the game.
There wasn't but one person. It was Jesse Kirsch.
Son of a bitch, Jesse Kirsch. If you're listening to this, you're a piece of shit.
Really. And his brother, I can't remember his name. Jesse and I can't remember.
It's not important. So that was your only 2 times you got popped? That was it?
No, shoot. Man, you need too much information here. I don't know.
You're good. What is it? Statute of limitations way past 7 years.
Oh, yeah.
You're all right. You go to jail, you die in there anyway.
Let me see. The other times I was busted.
Drug related now.
Drug related. Okay, I got busted in Lafayette. I got busted in Mobile. I got busted in, I think it was El Paso, Texas one time for cigarette papers. I was hitchhiking. And they pulled me over and couldn't find nothing but cigarette papers in an empty baggie, and they said they wanted to put
dust in a baggie, huh?
dust in a baggie.
Dust in a baggie.
That's
Oh,
it.
well, God, they got your ass again.
Yep. I did about 2 weeks there, and they dropped the charges because they didn't have nothing. And we went back to California, made another run.
From
Lafayette to Carlsbad.
And
Or
then-
no, we went to San Francisco to get our car, and we went,
to Tijuana.
yeah,
Mm.
or Carlsbad then Tijuana.
Mm.
We had an apartment in Carlsbad. But we had a 55 Nomad Chevrolet station wagon.
Now, what year was this when all this was going down? Around what time?
1968.
1968. So the summer of love, basically.
Yeah, it was the summer of hippies and all that stuff, man. It was getting down, right in the peak of it. Well, 69 was actually the peak, but that's when it capped off too because of Altamont.
What's Altamont?
That was a concert Stones put on free that they hired the goddamn Angels to do the security, and they started beating up and fucking with people, and I think they killed one guy, black guy.
I remember seeing that. Yeah.
And that was a bunch of shit.
But sign in again for another episode of Felonies of Your Father. Episode 2 coming soon.